Parshas Vayeshev, we're talking about Yosef. And there's an idea that every year we try to, on some level, come back to. Yosef is the only person in the Torah who his description is Yosef HaTzadik. There's a lot of tzaddikim in the Torah. But when Chazal talk about him, he's the only person in the written Torah that he's called Yosef HaTzadik, Yosef the Tzaddik. And there is a concept, and it really comes out in his behavior. So we'll talk about the behavior for a minute, and then we'll talk about the concept, and then we'll see where it takes us. Yosef is the favorite child. He's beloved by his father. It was Rachel's oldest son. He has this beautiful, beloved life. His brothers are not happy. They feel that Yosef is trying to make them lose their status as the Jewish people, to cut off their entire future. He's telling these bad things to their father, and he is going to wipe them out. They fight back, and they sell him. They first want to kill him, they sell him. He goes from one place to another. He goes from Yishmael, Midyanim, the different people who bought him. He's sold to the house of Potiphar. What happens to him in this house? He gradually works his way up. He becomes the head of the house. He is in charge. Nothing is withheld from him in this house except technically the wife of Potiphar. She had other ideas. We'll get to that in a minute. He completes success. It's interesting. We don't hear one word of complaint from him. We don't hear one time where he said, it's just not fair, they did this to me and they did this. We just see how he's put in the situation and he figures it out. He's put into jail after being falsely charged of assault, and he figures it out. He becomes the top man in the jail. He becomes the one that the officers in the jail look to for wisdom and for advice. All the way at the end, when he asks for a little help getting out, he says two extra words of complaint in Chazal, 2 words of complaint. And Chazal say those 2 words gave him another 2 years in jail. Yosef never complained. He took every circumstance in his life and turned it into, what do they say? There's no problems, only opportunities. I mean, people who say that maybe don't have so many problems, but there's no problems, only opportunities. Every problem for Yosef became an opportunity. When he ends up in the base Paro, he becomes the second most powerful man in the entire Egypt. Really, on some level, the most powerful in terms of his impact. Every difficulty he turned around into, somehow, we're going to take the lemons, we're going to make lemonade. We're going to make the situation better. He's called Yosef HaTzadik. We have a pasuk that says, Tzadik Yisod Olam. Tzadik is the foundation of a world. What is this word Yisod, foundation? What's the foundation? Foundation is something that's built deep in the ground. You don't see it, but the entire building is dependent on the stability of the foundation. The foundation is really what allows everything that's on top of it to be stable and to be strong. Yosef HaTzadik's foundation, he's the foundation of the world. Let's not forget, through his actions, the entire Mitzrayim was fed. Next week, we'll see it in the Parsha. Through his actions, the entire, all the countries in the surrounding region were fed. And through his actions, the Jewish people survived. All because when he was put in every situation, he said, what are the opportunities here to build on what seems to be missing? And how do I turn the minus into a plus? You see a person digging underground and he's putting up a building. Why are you digging underground for? No. If the foundation is not deep in the ground, the building is not going to be there. Who's the foundation of Yosef? It's Avram, it's Yitzchak, it's Yaakov. He's the beloved son of Yaakov. The pasuk says, it tells us that in the really bad moment, for a year, the Medrash explains, the wife of Potiphar is trying to seduce him. For a year. day in and day out. And comes finally the day when there's nobody else there. And it says in the Pasuk, it was that day he came to the house to do his work, and there was nobody there in the house. And the Gemara says two opinions. Rashi brings it. What does it mean he came to the house to do his work? One opinion is he had work to do. He was the one who ran the whole operation. The other opinion is he was coming to do his work. He was coming to finally fall into the clutches. He finally gave in to the seduction of the wife of Potiphar. He was finally ready to fall. And he went. And the Medrash says he was ready to do his Avera. He was ready to do it. And he saw in the window the appearance of his father, Dmus Diyukno Shel Aviv. And he said, no, I'm not going to do this. And he didn't do it. He did not fall. He ran away. He ended up going to jail for this. Okay. What stopped him? His father's image. There's a lot of different variations in the Medrash. And I think this is important for us. Some say the image of his father, some say the image of his father, the image of the Shekhinah, the image of Hashem, his father in heaven. And I wanted to just examine this for a minute. He's ready to go and fail. He's ready to completely give up. He's really given up. How long has he been away from home at this point? He was sold from his home. He was gone. He's ready to give up. But he saw that image of his father who loved him, who gave him value and strength and meaning and truth and connection. And when he saw that picture, he said, on whatever level, I cannot let him down. I cannot go against this. And despite all of the desire and despite all of the incredible process that had built up to this, and he already gave up. He was already there, ready. His father's image stopped him. And I was thinking about this, and I was saying, yeah, but not everybody has a father who their image will stop them. Not everybody has a father who they feel that love from and feel that support from and feel that sense of meaning and truth from. Mitzvah Hashem, all of you will be fathers one day whose children will look to you as a beacon of how to be and what you can be and how valuable and precious you are. But not everybody has a father who they could do that with. So what are they supposed to do when they're faced with such a problem and they're ready to give up and they just want to call an image because he didn't want to sin. He just also really wanted to, but he was fighting it the whole time. So what could he do? So he called up that image. So what is everybody supposed to do who doesn't have that image? I think that why did Hashem even give us a father in the first place? He could have created all of us one after another. But the Ramban explains that having a father is a way to train you about your father in heaven. That concept that there's a father in heaven. And he is the ultimate father. And that's why even if your father says to do an Aveira and Hashem but it's an Aveira, we say no. We all father everything. Yeah, but the father only comes from the Father in heaven also. And so the big challenge of a generation, of a world where people can't connect to their father to their father in heaven, through their father down here, is to try to skip and go directly to the top, and to try to develop their own relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabbeim could help, and mothers can help, and sisters and brothers and friends. All these people could help. But at the end of the day, no matter what the great yeshiva you go to, and no matter what great experience you have, if we don't create that relationship, which is that relationship with Hashem. The ideal way is through our Father. If we can create that and say, how much does Hashem value me and love me? He gives me life and opportunity. And even though there are things that are hard, I'm still alive and I'm still going and I still have a chance and I can still do it and I'm okay. And I'm still here. And there's problems. Yosef had problems, but I'm still here and I could build as long as I'm still here. So we could see, call the Shekhinah. When the person is in that danger, he says, one second, Hashem considers me too precious for this. He's given me a life. I could still make something of this. All of my children are going to look to me. Don't just look at the father. Look at your children. They're going to look to me as a beacon of somebody who's strong and who's connected. That's it, gentlemen. We have to have that relationship with the Rebbeinu Shalom. Have a beautiful Shabbos.